is going on, everybody? Welcome to First and Feathers and a Combo. We got here the Pittsburgh crew, the point after here on Stream Punk. I am Steven, being joined by Mitch, and what do we got there? Sax and Big Mighty Ed. How you guys doing? Welcome to the show. How's everybody feeling after this game?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good game for Philly, not so much for Pittsburgh.
Right.
I'm feeling great. 10-game win streak. I'm feeling great.
Yep. 10-game win streak. Mitch, kind of damper on what the Steelers had going on. Nice little stretch. Now you guys in the AFC North kind of got a big last few games. Ravens, they got the win over there against easy game against New York. But let's hop into this one from the jump. No Pickens. So for you guys, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, we're back for the Eagles. We'll go to you guys first. Ed, go to you. What were you? How were you feeling going into this one?
I feel it's always going to be a tough matchup for the Steelers, just because the way they play the game. They both have a very slow pace of the game. I thought if Philly got on a roll, which they did, then they would shorten the game. We talked about it on our Pittsburgh sports desk, that it could be the fastest game in NFL history if both teams started running the ball. I was a little surprised that Philly started right away going to A.J. Brown, because that doesn't usually work out, i.e. other teams try to do that. San Francisco tried to do it with Debo, and it backfired. So I think, overall, it was competitive for a little bit, and then I just think the injuries started to take over on both sides. And, getting the ball back in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes to go and completely taking the air out of the ball, man, that hasn't been done in a while in the NFL. So,
Sax, I'll go to you next. How are you feeling going into this one, and then your instant reactions to everything?
So good evening. Thank you. So like Ed was saying on our talk show, we were talking about the result is what we thought it would be. It was pretty close. I like the resolve that the Steelers showed. Of course, Najee's fumble, I think, really turned the game at that point. It was a little bit hard to come back from that, but I really enjoyed what our defense showed. I really want to see our offense improve. That's about what I really think in a nutshell from the game.
Mitch, what do you got?
I felt nervous, man. I felt really nervous coming into this game because I knew Pittsburgh Steelers had the defense. TJ Watt, he had a great game despite the injury. He had a great game. I just thought with the Steelers, there's really tough competition. Now we got the Commanders, Giants, and the Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. So I thought we were going to come in with the L. I was a little nervous, but I'm glad we won.
No, I'm with you, especially with all the unnecessary drama that the Eagles and Brandon Graham caused all throughout the week. There was no real football talk. It was all locker room drama talk really until Friday. So I was really kind of shocked that they actually did come out and Hurts to A.J. Brown. That first quarter, Hurts was 8 for 8, 104 yards. Russ really struggled in that first quarter, 2 for 8. But I want to go to you guys. You guys mentioned before we went live, you weren't surprised by this, by whether Pickens was there or not. You guys want to emphasize more? Sax, I'll go to you first about Russ, and you guys expected this.
So just looking at the matchup, we expected this turnout to be about what it was. It lined up with what it should have been. Him going to Hurst going to A.J. Brown was a surprise. They took what the Steelers gave them. That was the weakness of the Steelers defense, was the secondary, right? They really couldn't do too much. Saquon had trouble up front today, and then there was some big hits. I was actually a little surprised. I thought Philadelphia was going to come with a little bit more physicality, and the Steelers came with it like they were playing an AFC North game, and it looked that way, like especially on special teams with Robinson had a big hit, and 28 Killebrew had a big hit. That kind of thing, but that's not how you win the game. It's just physicality, right? So I thought Tom Brady made a great quote of the what was it, the Broad Street Bullies or whatever, and then all of a sudden those two plays happen. I thought it was just kind of funny at that point, maybe a little ironic, but we did think that Philadelphia would have a little bit too much for us. I was really happy with the Steelers defense. I really think we need to improve the offense, and George Pickens could have made a difference, even though Eddie's going to disagree with me.
And I'll go to you. Do you disagree? Do you disagree with him?
The only reason he doesn't have the consistency yet. If he was somebody who was impactful every single game, he's kind of a head case, and the consistency isn't there, and he has to have the ball for him to be happy. Unlike, if you trade one whiny wide receiver, you get another whiny wide receiver. It's not endemic to the Steelers. It's the position. They're divas, and traditionally both of these teams all year long have been slow starters. So I knew Pittsburgh was going to start slow. I'm not sure why they haven't fixed that by now, but they just start slow, and they clawed their way back. 17-13 at half. The Eagles go up 20-13. It was truly the fumble, because even if they get a field goal there, it's a different game, 20-16. But they were in enough rhythm where they could have got a touchdown to tie the game, and that really truly was the turning point after that. And it's something that we talk about on our Pittsburgh sports desk, because we don't think that they're using Najee the correct way. He's not a toss. He's a right up the middle kind of guy, one cut and go. Jalen Warren is the toss guy, and Najee, just all he did, if you look at him, he took his eyes off of it. He saw it out of the corner of his eyes, tried to catch it, took it off, and then it was Keystone Cops. So I think the Steelers defense held up well. Philadelphia still rushed. They gained 401 yards, and they had a couple returns over. They had one kickoff return for 36, another one for 31. So they had a lot of yardage. But the Steelers, I think, what they need to do is they need to. Their secondary is kind of weak. JPJ he didn't do anything on that slant when they had him pinned on that slant, which was the final drive. He didn't even chase after Brown. Gave up the slant and kind of just ran, parallel to him. So the Steelers have some issues, but I think also when the head coach says before the game, this game doesn't really matter because it's out of conference, and really it's next week that we have to focus on the Ravens. I don't know that that's the best way to motivate, but like Trey said, they shut down Barkley. He had 65 yards, but again, that's nothing to hang your hat on, because the result is the result. So,
and you kind of brought it up when you talked about that's usually a Warren on that toss play, and then you heard they went back to it after that, the broadcast, when they had when Russ went to the can, and then you heard someone from Pittsburgh go, "What's the can?" And I don't know if you guys want to dive into that at all, on the confusion of just the lack of play, in the huddle, who's doing what and what the play is on the can. And, Tom Brady talked about it. Is that play normally set up for Warren? You kind of touched on that, Ed.
Trace, isn't it? Well, Trace, isn't it? That's a Warren play?
It is normally a Jalen Warren play. They because he has a little bit more speed, he has a little bit more agility than Najee does. However, sometimes they try to get Najee outside like that, but for whatever reason they had Najee do it. He took his eyes off the ball because he was trying to get ahead of the defenders, who obviously were faster than he was at that point.
Hey, Mitch, I want to go to you about the Eagles and their first quarter. 10 points in the first quarter, 17 all season. Obvious hurts to Brown, but what was it that you really enjoyed in that first quarter that you kind of wish maybe the Eagles went to earlier on in the season in the first quarter? What was it that you saw?
I just saw confidence, man. I just saw confidence and chemistry between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I said it on my Fly Like an Eagle podcast that they were going to go to A.J. Brown's way because of all the drama, but it worked out because A.J. Brown is just that damn good. And it's just Jalen Hurts was hitting all cylinders. This was his game for him, the step-up game, because the Steelers' rush defense was going to slow down Saquon Barkley, which it happened. It happened. So you had to go through the air. Devontae Smith had a great game. A.J. Brown had a great game. The wide receivers and Calcaterra had a nice catch down the stretch. So, yeah, very good game passing the ball. Very, very good game. I loved it.
Hurts 146 yards through 3 drives. Week 13 had 108 total. Week 14 had 118 yards total. So, through the drama and all, they went to exactly what I think a lot of Eagles fans thought that they weren't going to do, and just feed into the drama. And I think they fed Brown the right way. They went to him early, really, really early, and then kind of balanced everything out. Devontae had a great game. The second quarter, though, the Steelers really kind of made this a game. Russ at the end, 9 for 16, 67 yards, a touchdown. Freiermuth, that was a nice touchdown grab that he had. Heading into halftime, how were you guys feeling? Were you Sachs? How were you feeling at halftime with the Steelers?
Actually, pretty good. I thought we were down by 4 at halftime going in. I think I texted Eddie and Billy that. I'm pretty confident if we're down by 4, we might have a chance here.
Yeah.
And that first drive going in, up until Najee fumbled that ball, I thought we had some momentum to at least tie it up where they were. And I feel like that kind of deflated us. Just that fumble was the turning point. Yeah. And I think it showed by the end result here.
Ed, what do you got on halftime?
Coming out of the half, I thought going in the half it would be a very competitive second half because the Steelers were dealing with whatever they say. Saquon Barkley, something happened to him. He got hurt or something. I don't care what they say. That tackle affected him because he wasn't.
I think it's one of them thigh bruises, Eddie. Right? They look like Nodge or Fitzpatrick on maybe in a thigh bruise because they put him back in, so maybe just a muscle something.
But he wasn't in really in the second quarter, and I thought really it was going to be a more competitive second half. Then Philly comes out, and what they do, they take almost an 8.5-minute drive, and they get points out of it, right? They accepted that penalty which I thought was questionable. Even though he was leaning left, I thought he was being blocked into the center, who's protected at all times. But it was such a long drive, and to get points out of that is the key because they didn't give the ball back to the Steelers. So I think it was like 8-something in the third quarter. So I think that's really what did it. And then the Steelers only had they didn't have that many plays the entire game, which was again was very shocking that they dominated the time of possession, which I thought was really the key to the game. And I think it was a surprise that they went to the pass more than anything else. I think it was.
Yeah. 13 minutes. Eagles had the ball in that third quarter, and the Steelers went to the trick play. They had that flea flicker to Austin. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. This is, they're pulling it out. They're going for all the stops. And then the fumble happened. Mitch Gainwell, how do you think he did tonight in kind of really filling in, especially in that second quarter and early in the third quarter for Saquon?
He did what he had to do. He had to gain yards. He had to move the chains. That's basically what he's there for. And with Barkley out, they just had to go to him more, and he had a very nice spin. He had a couple nice drives. So Gainwell did what he needed to do, and that's all I can ask for him. That's all I can ask when Barkley was out due to that circumstance. So he did what he just had to do.
No, I'm with you. He really filled in really well. I thought that the Steelers defense was going to shut down this rushing attack. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I had the Eagles winning by 2. I think I was like 28-26. Let's get into some of the players. You had 17-14?
I had 31-13 Eagles.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
What did you have, Sachs?
I thought there was 21 or 24, something like that. It was close. It was in 3 is what I had.
Okay. Yeah, 24-21 you had.
So I want to get into what some of the player grades and what you guys had. I'll let the Steelers guys grade your guys. So Sachs, what do you grade? Let's go Russ, the defense, and then the team overall.
Well, the defense, I would definitely give probably like the A-, right? So the secondary was suspect most of the day. If they would have played a little bit better, it would have been all right. But Elliott was out. If our strong safety was in, it would have been a little bit different look in our secondary. That's no excuse either way. JPJ was suspect. And when Jackson went down and they put Pierre in, that was it. That was it for us. Because he's really a utility player. But I thought our special teams did very well. We actually have a lot of talent, depth in our really out through our defense is the way I'd say it. And our special teams show it. Killebrew, Robinson, those guys really shine on special teams. I thought Russell Wilson could play a little bit better. Our offensive line could have gelled a little bit better. And I think the wide receivers did their best, but we just don't have the talent to actually compete with what we need to do today. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick that. What do you say, Ed?
Ed, I'll go to you. What do you give the grades?
So I thought, going into the half that they had made some in-game adjustments to make it 17-13. But I thought after that, they really never tried to double team anybody. Like on that, when they had them pinned down, there's no way I would have let AJ Brown beat me. I wouldn't let it happen, and they let that slant go. I thought the special teams gave up 89 yards again. Last week it was 101. So, I mean, overall, I give the defense a B because the strength of the defense is the front four. And they did well. They had 3 sacks on the day, and they limited the Eagles to 131 yards rushing. So, I mean, they did their job per se. But I think it's hard to say whether or not the signing, if Elliott was there, what the difference would be, because I think the weakest part of that defense is their cornerbacks. They don't have elite corners, and they tend to just grab too much and they're way too handsy. I think overall, team-wise, I'd give them a C. I don't think the coaching did enough to help them. And then after a while, they just could not get stops. I mean, Hurts took that clock down. Even in the regular drives, he took it down to under 5 almost every time. Which I thought was a great way to change the game and keep that percentage of game time ahead of the Steelers, which it worked.
So Eddie, me and you look at Lamar Jackson a lot on our podcast. I really think Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson. Just watching this game right here,
kind of hard to say because Lamar threw for 5 touchdowns today.
It doesn't hard to say. I just watched this game. I saw how he managed this game. He's better than Lamar Jackson.
I don't think so.
I'm not going that far. Not going that far, bro.
That Giants defense, even against that Giant defense, you're impressed with Lamar Jackson's 5 touchdown throws, Ed?
Yeah, I am. Steelers played that same defense. They didn't get anywhere near that result. I mean, I've seen too much of Jalen. You keep Jalen in the pocket, and you don't win. You just don't. I've watched so much of the Eagles because obviously being a Redskin fan as well, you just don't win when you keep him in the pocket. And the Steelers let him break contain, a bunch of times. So
what was the name of that movie we watched when we were in college? The Program, was it? Whenever the quarterback was in the middle of the lines, right in the middle of the. I'm sorry if I'm bringing this up on your podcast, but the double yellow lines, and he's reading something in a magazine, and the cars are driving by the guys, right? That's the difference between Lamar and Jalen. Jalen was throwing that ball when the cars were coming by him, and the ball was going where it was supposed to go, and Lamar can't do that.
Tom Brady mentioned it, too, about how Jalen started holding on to the ball a little bit too long, and he was nervous of letting it go, and then crazy enough, the next play, right in motion, he hits I think it was Devontae Smith for a first down. But I noticed it too. Mitch, I want to go to you. Did you notice it, especially after how well he was releasing the ball and connecting with AJ Brown in the first half? How much in the second half he really regressed back into his old kind of habits?
It's just that chemistry. He just wanted to find AJ Brown. He just wanted to get that right after all the drama. He just look, that's my guy. He's going to get the ball, and that's what happened. He just had confidence, that fire in him. And then that second half happened. He kind of dialed it back a little bit. He went to a couple different routes. He went to Gainwell. He went to Devontae Smith a little bit more so he could get the ball. But it's just Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, man. Once you have that chemistry, you can turn it on and off. It's like a light switch on and off.
Got some comments coming in. Better than L-Jax? Nah, but he's certainly a top 5 so far. So Kyle disagrees with you, Ed, that he's not better than Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm not sold on Hurts. I'm still not sold on him. I don't see him sitting in a pocket and winning a football game. I just don't.
What games you watch?
I've watched all of them. I just don't think he can sit in the pocket. That's what happened in the Super Bowl. He played the Super Bowl being 2 different games. Second half, they contained him, and he didn't do anything. And that's the biggest problem he has. How many touchdown passes do you have in the season? 15, maybe?
Yeah, man.
I don't even know what that.
I think it's
Let's see, 16 now.
Yes.
Okay, 16.
He's at 16.
16, right? And you compare that to Lamar Jackson, who is 29. So a little bit of a difference there. And one guy has hardware. One guy has MVPs already. So I just think the Eagles are what the Eagles are. They're going to try to get the ball to a short yardage, and then they're going to use their push. And that's what I thought. The Steelers did well against that too. They were able to submarine lower than some of those linemen because the tush push wasn't automatic. They made them work a little bit.
I think for spurts, Hurts can be that pocket quarterback, but it's the consistency that bothers me the most about him. He'll have a game like this, and let's see if he can repeat it next week against Washington. Kyle also says Steelers also don't have a lot of have that great of offense, especially without Pickens. Yeah. So even with you guys, even without Pickens, you guys think that this offense is kind of just lacking talent, right?
Even with him, yeah, I do. I mean,
yes,
it's easy to double team somebody and force the other way.
Right.
The question I've always had about Jalen Hurts, and you guys from Philly can answer this. You're down by 2 touchdowns with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Can you come back? Right? Can he sit there and come back? And I think the answer
you need everything to go your way.
Yeah.
He needs everything to go his way for that to happen. So, no, I'm with Kyle says Steelers' strength is defense, and the Eagles did well against it. That's a good sign. Star Wars, we win 10 in a row. Philly halftime is wrong that the Eagles lose to the Steelers.
I don't know what that means.
Mitch, we didn't get to your grades yet. Let's get to some of your Eagles grades. How'd you think they did?
But first, Philly halftime. He's an Eagles content creator. He's a guy in the Hardcore Sports Network. So for the people that do not know, that is my guy. So he was Star Wars was in his chat for the Eagles game. So that's why he said that, just to clarify it. And my players' grades, man. AJ Brown. I mean, not AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts. Hey, actually, I'm gonna go A- just because of that fumble holding on to the ball too long there in very spots. So I'm gonna give him A-. Well, what's it? Defense next, right? The defense, I'm gonna give an A. They stepped up when they had to. How many sacks did he get on the Russell Wilson? What was it, like 3?
3. Yeah.
It was 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that, and the overall grade, man, I'm just gonna give it a solid A. I mean, it was just a really good game of football for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm still kind of shocked, as you can tell. I'm still kind of like, what is going on here? It's like, dang.
Against a 10-win Steelers team. Kyle says, I still feel the Steelers should have stuck with Fields over Wilson. I'll go to you guys here. How do you feel about Kyle thinking they should have stuck with Fields? Sacks.
No, the stats are showing that Russ has it. He got into some kind of groove again here. I don't know if it's lightning in a bottle or whatnot, but they showed those stats just this week. And as much as we liked Fields and what he did, and we really appreciated it, Russ really has been able to do really 25% better. It really is what it boils down to through everything. So I really like that Coach Tomlin was able to find that and utilize it. And Fields still comes in and does what we need to do from time to time. So we know there's not bad blood there. He's not complaining or anything. So I'm pretty content with that at this point.
Yeah, I would just add that one quarterback pushes the ball down the field, one goes for the underneath and the check down. So they went with the guy that pushes the ball down the field, and that is Russell Wilson.
And personally, I think Fields is looking at the situation over in Chicago and going, you know what? This isn't so bad over here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Victor TJ Watt just told the reporters that he just rolled his ankle, had an X-ray, and it came back negative. So that's good news. That's good news for you guys.
It was weird, though.
Star Wars, we beat Russell Wilson. Yeah, Russell Wilson finally loses to the Eagles.
Yeah.
We got that over the hump.
Yeah.
Star Wars, we almost had the ball the whole third quarter is what I'm guessing he meant to say. All right, so let's go around the league to around the scoreboard here and check out some of the other scores. Thursday, Rams beat the 49ers 12-6 in an exciting Thursday game, right? We touched on it earlier. Ravens dominate the Giants 35-14. I'll pause here at this game for a minute and let you guys talk about, because you guys you got the Ravens next week, correct?
Yes, we do.
They got the Ravens on Saturday, actually.
Yeah, it
That's
is
right.
Saturday.
It is
It's
a
a great
Saturday
point.
game.
It's Saturday, and then
Ooh.
you have a game on Christmas on Wednesday.
Ooh,
Yeah, but he's weak to
Oh,
week.
That
that's
is
right.
crazy.
Yeah, Mahomes got a little bit of a nick.
yeah, he
He
did.
didn't he?
In Baltimore, it's going to be for the division. Are the Steelers still banged up? I don't know. Are they?
I think
Gonna
so. But Pickens, I think, is rested. But is Pickens a big? I don't know. Is he going to make that big of a difference going down the stretch here? I'm not sure. You and I have been watching him. I'm not sure he's that big of a difference.
No, too much of a. He's too immature. It'd be
Well,
different.
the
if he-
maturity or not, he catches the ball, but I'm not sure the consistency is there. When he
Right.
does it, it's flashy and it's great, makes ESPN, but we need him to do that every third down, and he really doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He needs
It's
to do it every
it's
Friday.
when they happen that it's nice that it happens, but you wish in certain moments he would step up and be that actual real number one receiver.
Yeah.
So matched up against Baltimore, though, I'm pretty excited. Seeing how they did against Philadelphia here. I really. It sounds weird coming out, coming from a loss, but seeing the way the team reacted to the Eagles with how the Ravens play, I think the Steelers are ready to come back and beat them again, and that'd be nice. I'd be really pumped if we do that.
Another comment coming in, Kyle. I get they won a Christmas game, but on a Wednesday, that's rough for the squads.
Oh yeah,
I guess you get a little bit of a mini bye. I guess I know it's even shorter. Well, no, if you're playing on Saturday and then you turn around, I mean, I guess it's the same thing as kind of playing on having that Thursday game. You get an extra mini bye
for the final.
right. It's that fatigue factor, right, Eddie? I mean, it takes a week for a body to recover, and if you go, a game like this was pretty physical, but whenever the Steelers play the Ravens or the Browns, it gets extremely physical. So those guys need a long time to recover. So a quick turnaround of any kind, especially after playing Baltimore, that's really harsh on those players, and it's going to be really tough for them to actually show up and want to play on that Wednesday.
I see where Kyle's going with this. Going to be messing with some fantasy championship games. So, Kyle, this is where Kyle's going with this. It's messing with his fantasy playoff team here.
Yeah.
So we'll continue going around the scoreboard here. Jets and Jags in an absolutely pointless game with no playoff implications at all. 32-25. Jets get the win. Cowboys, who are an underdog in this game against the Panthers, they get the win. 30-14. Commanders, they sneak by, get the win. 20-19 over the Saints. Bengals, who are just that offense, they're wasting so many years of Burrow and Higgins and Chase. They get the win. 37-27 over the Titans. Chiefs, Ed, you kind of mentioned it earlier before about how Mahomes got banged up. They get the win, though, 21-7 against the Browns. Texans get the win over the Dolphins, 20-12. Broncos win 31-13 over the Colts. Cardinals win 30-17 over the Patriots. Bills, huge game. Holy hell. 48-42, big win over the Lions. Kind of stop here for a minute. A lot of people are saying this was a possible Super Bowl preview. If the way this scoreboard looks, what do you guys think on this? Mitch, I'll go to you first about a possible Super Bowl preview.
Well, I predicted Buffalo to win. I'm getting that out there. But these two teams have everything you need to win a Super Bowl. Like Detroit is missing a couple big players though, like Aiden Hutchinson. That's my guy. Sorry, Steve, but I'm just saying. Come on. But Detroit, they're due for a loss. They were due for another one. And Buffalo's defense is just too good for them. And Josh Allen is on another level. So for MVP, you got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson. Who's the fourth? Who's the fourth?
Really, I can't even really think of any. Maybe a defensive player, but this year the
Maybe
quarterback
Burrow.
play has kind of really been down.
Maybe Burrow. He's got 33-5, 33 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and
but
five.
if you look at their team record, what are they like 7 and what are they?
6
What
and
is their record? 7-8.
6-8.
I think it's one of those
Six-
seasons though that you're going to get. You kind of have to throw a guy like that in there.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right. Yeah. Buccaneers, huge win over the Chargers, 40-17. And then tonight we got who's tonight? The Packers and the Seahawks. What are your guys' predictions on that? Packers Seahawks. What score you got?
I got Packers winning 28-21.
Ed, what do you got?
Packers are a 3-point favorite over under 47.5. I got the Packers 27-20.
Well, I'll go 24-17 Packers. I don't care about these three.
I like the Seahawks in this one. I think they're trying to keep up with the Rams in that division. I'm going to go to Seahawks. I'm going to take the under. Actually, I'm going to go in a tight one because I don't know what the weather's like there. It's in Seattle, right?
Yeah,
this one's out in Seattle. I'll go Seahawks 2017. Seahawks win that one.
It's 44 and clear in Seattle.
Oh, there you go. Nice night in Seattle. Better than how it would have been in any place here in Pennsylvania this game.
Or Green Bay.
Yeah, or Green Bay. I saw some of those footage from Buffalo too. Oh man, I bet you they're happy that game was in Detroit.
Indoors. Hell yeah.
I'll wrap up some of these comments before we wrap up the show. Kyle, my fantasy teams are losing this week, so won't be bothering me none. Getting my butt handed to me in the Stream Punk League, facing CD Lamb, who put up his second highest total of the year. Add Puka and Burrow. Yeah, my comeback story ends here. And then Bucks just exploded in the second half. Star Wars, Lions and Eagles, 12-2. Yeah, that's going to go down to the last game of the year. Whoever the Eagles and the Lions are playing, that's kind of going to force both teams to play their starters most likely there in that last game.
They have it way easier. They have the Commanders, the Giants, and the Cowboys. They should win out.
Yeah, the Eagles should have went out. Yeah.
Being a diehard Commander fan, but I think they're going to win.
So, guys, I want to thank you guys for doing this collab with us on this game and this week. Where can everyone find you guys at Sachs?
Eddie, we're on the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, right?
Yep, Pittsburgh Sports Desk. We're on Let's Talk Sports, Spitball and Sports. And then additionally, I'm on Gridiron Weekly, which is again on Let's Talk Sports, Spitball and Sports. And then on Saturdays, Stoppage Time, which is a little bit of European football. And that's on Spitball and Sports and Let's Talk Sports. So.
All right, guys, make sure you guys go follow them. Check out those shows and all the content they're putting out. Mitch, where can everyone find you at?
Well, before I say that, the Lions are against the Bears, Niners, Vikings. Those are the last three.
The Vikings. That's going to be a
Wow, yeah, that end of the season game against the Vikings is going to be
for the division.
Ooh, you might got a fan here, Kyle.
Absolutely.
Ooh, you're a sucker. Yep. So there we go. Got a fan.
So yes,
where can everyone find you at?
So yeah, you can find me here on Stream Punk every Thursday at 4:00 for Fly Like an Eagle podcast. You can subscribe to my network, Hardcore Sports Network. My second channel, everything, all good.
Awesome.
Nice. And of course, you can find me Stream Punk post-game shows with the Sixers, doing the Eagles post-game show. And then, of course, once MLS season starts back up, the Attacking Third every Sunday, 8 a.m. All right, guys, I really appreciate you jumping on. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And we are out of here.